Reid and Rodrigo Togores, and they are ready to play. Let's get down to the action. Hello and welcome. It is game one, round one. I see some things in common between these two decks, Rich Shea.
Yeah.
What colors is Leovold again?
Leovold is bug, and for those
what colors is Sultai again?
I don't remember.
It's bug. Note there's Team Leovold on the top and Leovold Emissary of Trest in Reid Duke's hand. So
are they really both on Team Leovold now?
There are two Deathrite Shamans on my screen right now. And yeah, you said it was all about Paradoxical Outcome, not necessarily people playing Paradoxical Outcome, but it was the elephant in the room. You know what's good against Paradoxical Outcome, attempting to draw a bunch of extra cards?
I'm going to go with Leovold Emissary of Trust.
Yeah, you do not want to see Leovold in the other guy's deck if you're playing either Outcome or Yawgmoth's Bargain, for that matter. Drawing one card a turn is not where the Storm decks want to be.
Reid Duke has drawn two lock pieces that hold the ground against Paradoxical Outcome, Nullrod, and of course Leo himself. And we are watching two bug decks battle it out. This is really cool. I mean, so far, all of these cards are cards that we're not seeing any play in Vintage.
When's the last time you saw Tarmogoyf play in Vintage?
In Vintage? I mean, no. This looks... I've seen this in Legacy, but Vintage, and I'm glad to see this, because this is innovation. And frankly, when Monastery Mentor was running around, you know, why play a Tarmogoyf when you could have a Mentor?
The only Vintage League, the only card you can't play in Legacy that's come out of Rodrigo's deck so far is the Mental Misstep.
Right?
He's like, I ran this deck in Legacy the last tournament I went to. He's on like 4-color Leovold or some such.
Oh, Akash reminds me that he played a Tarmogoyf against me in 2013. Thank you.
Yeah, Tarmogoyf, it's been a while.
It has been. This is really cool. I mean, Tarmogoyf is a giant monster, and it's certainly a very powerful card. And the fact that we haven't seen it in Vintage is, well, I think that Monastery Mentor was just so much better than the alternatives. Why bother? And wow.
Also, I like the way the Planeswalkers have switched up. It used to be that we're all Jace as our Planeswalker. Deathrite Shaman is apparently now the Planeswalker of choice.
That was good. That was good.
I'm convinced it's got 3 abilities. You use 1 for turn, right? Clearly, Deathrite Shaman's a Planeswalker. His spark's going to ignite sooner or later. That's got to be where we go.
That's true. Now, I know that they've made a Planeswalker Goblin Welder. And they've made a Planeswalker Stoneforge Mystic. So I guess we're waiting on a Planeswalker Deathrite Shaman, right?
Oh, interesting. Rodrigo let the Brainstorm resolve. Does not point his misstep at it. I guess it's his blue card for Force of Will?
I guess so, yeah. Maybe he's really... He would not enjoy seeing
who knows? I guess he's seen a Deathrite Shaman, so he must know he's in something resembling a mirror. But look how good the Brainstorm is for Reid's hand. He gets to shuffle away some of this garbage. He's got the fetch land. Suddenly, his hand is way better than it used to be.
Yeah, the uncounterability of Abrupt Decay is going to be huge here.
True story.
Wow, this is really cool. So, Reid Duke demonstrates the power.
Bayou. I was just thinking, does he actually have a Bayou in his deck? Because that's the dual land he wanted to get right there. Yup, no problem. Welcome back to Vintage, Bayou.
it's been a very long time since non-blue duels were playable.
Agree. Brave new world. Love it.
Now we have Snuff Out. Oh, but it looks like Reid is going to try to summon Jace, and Rodrigo may not deign to let that happen.
Yeah. I mean, Leo.
Oh, wow. It looks like it will happen, though, because Reid drew the Force of Will, so that's going to let him power out Jace the Mind Sculptor.
Indeed. Yeah, he didn't even hesitate. I mean, I might have led Leo there if I didn't have the Force of Will, but this
Force changes everything. Now you can pitch it, protect Jace, and in a matchup like this, both decks are trying to grind out card advantage. Neither deck is a combo deck. Both decks want to slowly amass incremental advantage, and Jace the Mind Sculptor is really good at that.
True story.
So remember that time that Reid had to brainstorm and how good that was? Now he gets to do that every turn until Rodrigo deals with Jace, which may not happen in the course of the game.
What do you have? I mean, I have Reid's win percentage at 80 plus, maybe 90 plus from here.
Yeah, I think the only chance Rodrigo has somehow is finding his own Leovold, which basically shuts off most of Jace's abilities and reduces Jace to fate-sealing Reid, which I guess is scrying Reid.
Well, you can also bounce the Leovold and cast your other card draw spells. Like
that's true.
You don't get to do that every turn. You do that for a while, then you fate seal once. And
right.
Hopefully you've drawn a way to kill Leo by then.
So, of course, Deathheart Shaman can't hit Jace because he can attack Jace, but his ability is Life Loss, and Life Loss doesn't hit Planeswalkers. But it's not strictly worse. If Reduke had Worship in play, Rodrigo could still win with Deathheart Shaman.
Man, what a swing, that sequence. Reid got to resolve his Brainstorm. He got to get rid of the stupid Null Rod that was clogging up his hand. He got to reshuffle those away, top decks the Force of Will, and...
So... It seems
I thought Rodrigo had this game. When he came out, Reid had no permanence, was getting attacked by a Tarmogoyf.
If Rodrigo had mental misstep to the Brainstorm, this game might look very different.
Yeah, it's hard to blame him, though, when it's his only blue card for Force of Will, and he's worried about exactly things like Jace.
Yeah.
I don't know, though.
Advantage to press. Right? He had 2 creatures to Reid's nothing.
Yep.
But Reid had the uncounterable Abrupt Decay. And then, of course, Jace arrives with Force of Will backup, and Snuff Out is looking not very exciting in Rodrigo's hand. It doesn't hit currently anything. Snuff Out's a great card, but like a lot of the early removal spells in black, it can't hit black creatures. So Leovold is immune to being snuffed out.
I've seen Rodrigo mess around with Murderous Cut in these Leovold decks, too. That'd be a lot better here.
That would be.
God, now Reid's got the ability to hardcast a Force of Will.
Yeah. And he can Abrupt Decay the Deathheart Shaman. Should the Deathheart Shaman become annoying? This is a huge... I mean, yeah. Basically, every turn that goes by... it becomes harder to imagine a universe in which Rodrigo emerges the victor.
I mean, it's 4 Deathrite Shaman activations. That's how he wins this game. Right? Reid might need to Force of Will this Deathrite just to make sure.
Yeah,
right? Force of Will this one, untap, Abrupt Decay the other.
The list of things that Deathheart Shaman deals with includes Deathheart Shaman. Much like Mental Misstep, it's this Ouroboros which sort of eats itself. In other words... Reduke can play his own Deathheart Shaman and start using the green life gain ability.
There aren't that many creatures in the graveyard, but yes, there is now a second creature available. Or a third creature.
And Reid just added another one by countering the Deathheart Shaman, thinking ahead.
I do think this turn is Abrupt Decay plus summon my own Deathrite. But let's Jace first and see if we can do even better.
Wow, it looks like we can. Still unrestricted ancestral recall that is Treasure Cruise. And Treasure Cruise is also an interesting card with Deathrite Shaman or against Deathrite Shaman. It lets you clean out your graveyard. It lets you modulate the size of Tarmogoyf. It does a lot of really powerful things.
Reid does not bother keeping the Sylvan Library because he has better ways to draw extra cards.
Mm-hmm. Right. Not nearly as many cards as, say, Jace plus going on a boat.
Yeah. Here's a Deathrite activation.
So Reid's down to 6. What's the scenario where Rodrigo recovers from this?
Well, first, this Treasure Cruise needs to draw blanks. Right, Reid has to forget to play the Delta and reshuffle, draw the same bad cards. We missed that. He thought about it. He started to go for the cruise. He's like, oh, yeah, I have to play my fetch land first.
Right.
So these have to be blanks, and Rodrigo has to draw, I don't know.
So I guess he has to have, like, 3 sudden shocks as his next 3 draws and a Badlands in his deck.
Sudden shock, sure.
That might not even get him there, though, because Reid's going to have his own Deathrite Shaman to gain life, and I guess the Badlands won't even be in play anymore. So
No, we're done.
I'm having trouble imagining the scenario.
So many is Abrupt Decay? Oh, Abrupt Decay the Mox Jets? That's gonna be like that, Reid Duke?
Wow.
Good play.
I like it. I like it. Rodrigo doesn't even have a card to pitch to Force of Will.
Is Abrupt Decay actually finally going to be good in Vintage?
I hope so. Oh,
wow,
well.
Wastes the fetch land and Rodrigo doesn't crack it.
Rodrigo must have F6'd and is no longer interested in playing this game.
Okay.
All right.
Can't blame him.
Let's see how they sideboard. It looks like Rodrigo has Null Rod, Mindbreak Trap, Energy Flux, and
nobody wants to let anybody have fun. That's what I've learned here.
Oh, is that a Sulamar in Reid Duke's deck?
Dragon Lord Silumgar, ladies and gentlemen.
That is awesome. Wow. I'm glad that there's a Dragon Lord in this VSL. That's great. So, is that the one that gains control of a creature when it arrives?
Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. On
Brewers Challenge indeed. Green Sun Zenith in Rodrigo's deck.
I like it. I like that.
Ramanop Excavator. Crucible of Worlds on a stick.
Ooh, right. That's
if you're gonna pay. We've been paying 3 mana for Crucible of Worlds forever, right? Why not get a 2/3 body? Somehow in Vintage, it's actually easier to blow up an artifact than a creature anyway. I think, is that guy just, if you have green mana, he's just going to be better than Crucible of Worlds?
Yeah, he's a win condition too. And of course, if you're playing Green Sun Zenith, he's fetchable.
Is there Manglehorn in there too? Manglehorn, Ramanok Excavator. That was Leovold. That's the 3-drop slot.
These are not things that Workshop decks are particularly fond of seeing. So.
Yeah, don't forget the Trigon Predator. Rodrigo's 3-drops include Manglehorn, Trigon, Excavator, and Leovold.
Love it. Manglehorn, it stops paradoxical outcome decks because all of the Moxen that they're trying to replay arrive tapped. And of course, Workshop decks, all their creatures come into play tapped, and something gets blown up. Wow, and there's the Manglehorn himself. And Reid Duke has a bunch of acceleration, but not much to accelerate into.
Yeah, I think you keep it. He's got a misstep. He's got an Abrupt Decay.
I like it. I mean, in the best case scenario, Reid can Abrupt Decay Eternal and Deathrite Shaman.
Yeah, I've seen people trying to play Deathrites and Abrupt Decays in Vintage forever. Like, since those cards have been printed, people have wanted them to be Vintage viable. Maybe we're finally there.
I hope so. Nothing about them are bad. They're great cards, and they've certainly been absolutely dominant in Legacy. But in Vintage, they had to contend with the raw power of Monastery Mentor, and there's really very little that the bug colors can do about the Mentor. I can't even tell you how many times in the pre-restriction days I would be playing a Mentor deck against a bug deck, and my bug opponent would do something like play Illness in the Ranks or Dread of Night, something that prevents the tokens from happening, and it didn't matter because Monastery Mentor himself is still crashing in for 7.
Yeah, wait, Reid leads on Wasteland since he can still play his Deathrite.
Wow. So Rodrigo here is falling behind a little bit because he can't really play his spells, but he has Time Walk, and Time Walk would be pretty good.
He's mostly just cycling it, though.
Of course.
Oh,
That's just, now, he can either, I assume he's playing the Arbor, the Dryad, who...
I wouldn't assume that. I didn't notice one when I glanced at his list. Maybe, maybe not.
It does kind of look like a forest.
He's like, dismember your Deathrite. Get that off the table.
It looks like he is, opting to kill the Deathrite, which will cut Reid off of casting a Brainstorm. Or at least off of casting it without throwing away his...
It makes him crack his fetch land first, which Reid did not particularly want to do. It's not like any of the cards in Reid's hand are bad, like in Game 1, though.
I guess he gets Deathrite Shaman here.
I assume, yeah. I mean, he wants mana acceleration. It's a great card, so...
Mm-hmm. Now, it's not going to survive the turn, but that's the life of being a summoned creature against a deck playing Abrupt Decay.
Man, 2 Sultai decks, 2 bug decks just trading 1-for-1. Every turn has had at least one 1-for-1 trade.
These decks
now you can Brainstorm Fetch.
Now, Rodrigo would absolutely love to get Jace the Mind Sculptor into play because these decks have so much trouble with Jace. Wow! Reid Duke gets to cast Painful Truths.
Yes, he does! And then he gets to snap it back again!
Man, what do you even put back here? I mean, I think it's got to be 1 land. And then probably a Force of Will because you really do want to have that Snapcaster. But these are...
You keep Snapcaster Mage. Like, it's not like you have to force their game-breaking spell. You're grinding.
The Painful Truth is you can't keep all of them. Those are really good cards.
Well, let's draw 3 more.
Yeah. Turns out Ancestral's good even if you tack 2 mana onto it. And next turn, looks like Reid Duke can summon up Jace. And I guess Rodrigo here can smash a Mox.
I mean, he doesn't know he needs to. He's probably going to summon a Manglehorn. Well,
yeah. It'll still smash a Mox. But...
Oh, I thought you were looking at the Abrupt Decay. Yeah, of course. Manglehorn.
No. Manglehorn is... I like Manglehorn. I mean, he's certainly not in the deck for this particular matchup, but he's still going to do some nice things. That's actually huge because without Manglehorn, Reid Duke would have Black Lotus. He'd be able to play Jace and have 2 mana open. With Manglehorn, Reid Duke will have to settle for Leovold, which will probably still be game-ending, but you know.
Manglehorn. Crazy. Yeah. Black Lotus comes into play tapped.
And unlike Lion's Eye Diamond, Black Lotus has to tap as part of its ability because it's a mono artifact. So if you ever see a Black Lotus, it actually doesn't have a tap symbol on it. It doesn't say tap. Instead, its type is mono artifact because when they made artifacts back then, if they wanted them to tap for their ability, instead of saying tap to do this, it would say mono artifact, and then it would list what it does when you tap it.
Well, they hadn't invented tapping yet. Mono just meant use once per turn.
Right. It was...
And Abrupt Decay, I think Rodrigo has to Abrupt Decay the Leovold there, even though Reid gets a card.
Oh, yeah. I think that's a great play. And Rodrigo is hoping for Jace the Mind Sculptor to arrive next turn. Wow.
How should Reid play this?
Oh, I think he should play Jace and also play Leo.
Okay. I mean, he's got Snapcaster available for either Abrupt Decay Probably not painful truths. I think I like your line, though.
It's offense and defense. Not only does Leovold prevent Rodrigo from drawing anything to get out of this, he's also a blocker for Jace.
Good point. It does mean you leave Deathrite Shaman alive for a turn.
It does. But I think...
But he's certainly, like, what's Rodrigo going to do? The best card in his deck is probably Jace the Mind Sculptor.
Right.
And Leovold shuts off the Brainstorm ability.
So
let's say modifies the Brainstorm ability. Turns out you have a button you can push to force yourself to put 2 cards from your hand on top of your library. It's not turned off completely. It's just modified. Right.
So if Rodrigo has a miracle that he'd like to cast next turn, then he's good. It's a very, very smart play of Reid to have plussed Jace, because by doing that, even if Rodrigo plays his own Jace, bounces the Leovold, Rodrigo can't crash in and kill Jace.
This Reid Duke guy seems pretty good at Magic. We just had to get the Storm deck out of his hands. We had to tell him, you're not allowed to play Storm 3 times, Reid. You only get to play it once. It's like, all right, well, I know how to play Sultai.
I was looking forward to seeing what he was going to do with Yawgmoth's Bargain, but this is cool, too. I mean, you know, I lost Yawgmoth's Bargain, but I got to see a Sulamar deck, which is also awesome.
Silumgar. You're going to have to learn your Dragon Lords, Rich.
All right, well... Brian Kelly would be mad at me if he saw me on here forgetting my Dragon Lords. Okay. Silumgar.
There you go.
I think that it's really cool. You know, we're seeing 2 innovative decks already.
Probably not designed with the mirror match in mind.
I can't imagine they would be.
I've seen some of this running around, though. There have definitely been some Leovold decks running around the leagues and the challenge.
Yeah. Well, Leovold is great. He stops paradoxical outcome. Leovold means that whenever you wasteland someone, that person gets to draw a card. And, you know, I could see Wizards printing a wasteland variant for Modern where you get to draw a card. It's kind of like a Ghost Quarter, right?
Sure. All right. Rodrigo does go for Jace, bounce your Leovold. Like you said, though, Reid had defended himself against this. Oh, Rodrigo strips away his black mana. So trying to prevent Reid from replaying the Leovold next turn. That's pretty smart.
Well, Reid is stuck trying to have a Brainstorm and a Snapcaster into another Brainstorm to find it.
Well, his Jace actually works. He can start there. Yeah, he kind of does need black mana. Yeah, start with a Brainstorm. Let's see if this fixes it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, hey, sure. There's the fetch land. 2 fetch lands even.
So, what do you do here if you're Reid? I like putting back a fetch land, and I actually think I like putting back a Deathrite Shaman because of how advanced this game state is.
And then play Leovold plus the other Deathrite?
I think that because Rodrigo has no hand, I think I actually like Demonic Tutor for Time Walk, which will set up Snapcaster into Retime Walk. And that's going to be a ton of Jace activations, and that's going to let Reid climb so far ahead on cards and produce a blocker that I think the game will get out of Rodrigo's reach.
I mean, he definitely needs to resummon Leo before he passes the turn to a guy with Jace, but you're right. GT for Time Walk is...
swim around in a giant pool filled with turns.
DT for Time Walks is sweet. I like it. And then next turn, he can probably snap the Time Walk and play a Deathrite.
If he keeps it, I think I like putting back the Deathrite and...
Well, one of the Deathrites, sure. I meant the other one.
Oh, yeah. He does have a surplus of Deathrites. Yeah. And of course, then he can go digging in his time.
Yeah, I think you keep the dig. I think I'm with you. I think it's fetch land Deathrite. Is it possible it's Deathrite and the other Deathrite, or Deathrite dig, keep both fetches? Like, if he's going to do the snap Time Walk plan, he really wants to make a land drop next turn.
He does. I bet he'll get there with his Brainstorm, though.
I mean, he'll probably get there, but there's some value in definitely getting there. All right, he put back the fetch and the Snapcaster.
Wow. All right. I did not see that one coming, I'll admit. But Let's see what line Reid Duke takes. Maybe he's going to Demonic Tutor for... Oh, gosh. He did! I was going to name the Dragon Lord, and then I remembered that I can't remember the name of the Dragon Lord.
So he gives Rodrigo a Jace activation.
Does Silumgar steal Planeswalkers, too?
Would they do that? I'll let you puzzle it out.
Well, Rodrigo did not find everything he was looking for because, well, he found a bonus copy of Jace, but even with the new changeover in the rules, you're not going to be able to have two Jaces with the same name.
You actually need me to read Silumgar to you?
I don't even remember that. I admit I don't remember what Silumgar does.
When Dragon Lord Silumgar enters the battlefield, gain control of target creature or planeswalker for as long as you control Dragon Lord Silumgar.
That's incredible.
It's good times.
Man.
A double Deathrite got him to the 6 mana. There's no deck list at this point. The players do not know each other's lists, so Reid is planning to just blind slide Rodrigo here.
You know, if I were Rodrigo, the list of things that I was expecting would not include any particular Elder Dragon legend at this point.
Not sure. Is he an Elder Dragon legend? Elder Dragon legend, you're right. Legendary creature Elder Dragon, but close enough.
Yeah. I think the originals were Elder Dragon legends, right? And so Nicole Balas originally was printed as an Elder Dragon legend.
Right.
And he was part of a cycle of 5. Of course, Nicole was the best one, but you had other ones like Chromium and Arcades Sabbath.
I still think I like your Time Walk line better. Reid's is more fun.
Yeah.
But I like DT for Time Walk, Snap Time Walk, activate Jace 3 times, replay Leovold. It's just so many million miles ahead that way.
It's pretty fun to take 3 turns. I mean, you know, some people take 1 turn at a time. That's most of us. Some people, on their finer days, take 2 turns in a row. But usually you have to have Time Vault in play to take 3 turns in a row.
Reid has some options at this point. Both Deathrights are active.
So got rid of the Thoughtseize, which makes sense. I mean, Rodrigo's down to 1 card. Is it the end of Manglehorn?
Oh, I think yeah. Reid's at 9. Manglehorn can't really attack through Leo very well.
No. Well, certainly can't attack through Dragon Lord Silumgar.
In a weird way, I feel like Reid wants Rodrigo to spend all his time killing Reid's Jace so that Reid can steal Rodrigo's. I mean, I think that's what he's trying to set him up for, right? You spend all your resources killing my Jace, and then I'll just steal yours. Hilariously, Rodrigo has a backup.
Do you think that the future will involve a Jace tribal deck featuring 2 mana Jace, 3 mana Jace, 4 mana Jace?
They are all pretty good. There's some good Jaces in the world. Yeah, the fact that they're changing the Planeswalker rule, that has not kicked in yet. That kicks in with Ixalan, right?
I think so, and I'm glad to see that. I think that'll be a much easier rule to explain. I can't tell you how many people have called the Planeswalker rule the Legend rule anyway.
Dragon Lord Silumgar comes down. Reid has decided, I want your Jace. Yeah, fine. I'm going to lose mine. I can only keep one of these Jaces.
Oh.
I'll keep the one Presumably the one with 2 loyalty. Yeah, yeah. Wow. And he bounces the death right.
Wow. So Rodrigo can't even recast his Jace if he doesn't draw a land.
And you know, I bet Reid was thinking about that. He's thinking, like, what can Rodrigo do to get himself back into this? Well, he could play a Jace. Let me bounce his mana, so Rodrigo top decks a land.
Bouncing the Dragon Lord here will mean that Rodrigo gets his Jace back, in which case he'll future Legend Rule his own Jace. And then, of course, Reid can just play it again and steal whichever Jace survives. So this does not work out particularly well for Rodrigo either way.
Oh. I don't know what else he was supposed to do, but
I don't think he had any great plays. I guess he can. Well, there's an Ancestral. That'll do something, maybe?
Well, next turn.
Yeah.
Manglehorn does get to attack Reid down to 5.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Dragon Lord just steals Jace again.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, I think. Oh, well, Reid can also cast Ancestral Recall if he's into that sort of thing. He could target Rodrigo if you wanted to make this more of a challenging game, but I don't even think that's the right play in.
I think it's gotten challenging enough. Like, the Silumgar play was cool and all. Not clear it was as good as resummoning Leovold.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, he can cast Dig Through Time and the Dragon Lord this turn.
Doesn't the Sapphire come into play tapped?
Oh, you're right. Wow, Manglehorn continues to do work.
Yes, it does.
Man, good old Manglehorn. I guess you could always steal the Manglehorn.
It's true. Pretty sure you're supposed to steal the Jace or shut it off with Leovold. Jace can give his life to bounce Leovold, but
Now, it looks like Reid has other things in mind, and I guess Reid's just going to send his Deathrite Shaman to go kill Jace. Well, takes a Planeswalker to kill a Planeswalker, I guess. So this will work out really well for Reid. I'm sure that Rodrigo is looking forward to enjoying the services of Ancestral Recall until this advisor arrived.
So what we're learning here is that Leovold is better than a Dragon Lord?
Apparently. I mean, he's an elf advisor, which I guess he's giving you really good advice or giving your opponent terrible advice.
He is kind of hanging out in a study, right?
Yeah.
It looks a little bit like the Nicol Bolas study.
It kind of does. The original Nicol Bolas is reading a book in a library, which is cool. Yeah. These are his more relaxed days before he was a Planeswalker, I guess.
All right. Yeah, Reid, I think, has finally turned the corner. Finished turning the corner. He's been ahead for a while, but now Rodrigo is in Summon Deathrite. Reid is summoning a Leovold and hitting him for 2 with Deathrite and digging through time.
Yeah.
Or no, use the Deathrite for mana, my bad.
Rodrigo's hopes in life involve drawing a single card off of Ancestral Recall on Reid's turn.
We're going to see that play, aren't we?
We may well. It's not a very fun play, but, well, it makes Ancestral fair. Instead of Ancestral Recall, it's like, recall from your Uncle Jack.
Like,
not all of your ancestors, like one uncle.
I mean, Reid has turned it into weaker Opt.
Yes. Which I'm
excited to get to play with Opt again in Standard. That's all good, but
I'm excited about it for Modern. I legitimately think it's going to be a card. I think that the Modern Storm deck would really like to have an Opt because it wants to leave mana open to be remanding and gift saying, and Opt's great.
Yeah, I like Opt a lot.
I
was one of the developers. I think I was the lead developer on the set it was initially printed in, and I always thought it was underplayed.
No, I agree. So you're saying that you made Opt?
I don't remember if I designed it, but I was definitely the guy who put the power level right there.
Okay, I think it's an incredibly well-designed card, so I'm glad it's coming back to Modern.
Yeah. Rodrigo has seen enough, and Reid Duke notches the first win of our new season of Vintage Super League.
Wow.
We had no idea what people were going to show up with. The 12 of us submitted decks. First two, both were on Team Leovold. They may have named it a little differently, but those decks looked quite similar. It'd be interesting to go through and see the differences. I didn't really see the Manglehorn or Excavator tech on Reid's side.
I don't think Reid had the Green Sun Zenith, which is probably why you'd run the green Funos. Instead, Reid had to make room for Dragon Lord Sulamgar, and it's
awesome.
It's actually great because those colors cannot really deal with Planeswalkers too well. Sure, you can Abrupt Decay 3-mana Lilies and whatnot, but something like Chandra, the deck can't deal with it.
Yeah, or Jace the Mind Sculptor, certainly one of the most played Planeswalkers in Vintage. Maybe Dak Thaden sees slightly more play, but it's close. I think it's probably Jace TMS as the most played Planeswalker in Vintage. So can't blow it up. How about you just steal it?
Exactly. I like it. I like it a lot. That's really clever.
Awesome. All right, you're up next, Rich.
Oh,
it's your turn. It's going to be Rich Shea against Kevin Cron right after these messages. Don't go anywhere. This is going to be a fun night. We'll see you shortly.
Need the latest Magic the Gathering singles for Constructed, casual cards for the kitchen table, or sealed product for a draft night with your friends? CoolStuffInc.com has what you're looking for. With an extensive selection of singles, sealed, and supplies, free shipping on orders of $100 or more, a 25% buy list bonus, and our ever-popular customer rewards program, CoolStuffInc.com is a one-stop shop for all your Magic the Gathering needs.
Ixalan is available in stores. Brave the unknown.